let me get the recording up and going. And then first thing first, because this is the first session, I've been going over this with all of your other teammates, and that is general mindset and improvement process. Because hopefully one day, it would be probably your preference and my preference and your coach's preference. If if you don't have to keep paying me years from now to teach you how to play the game.
Yeah.
Preferably at some point you'll be able to be self-sufficient and know how to do this stuff on your own and self-improve at the game. So I'm going to hopefully help you start along that process so that you can improve, outside of our coaching sessions and start to learn how to implement it yourself. So we're going to get into some of that and the general, and this is going to be how I improved at the game. This is going to be how I even go about in my method of doing coaching. Is this general method of identifying mistakes and then looking for the solutions and applying those to your gameplay and cutting down on mistakes to make your gameplay more consistent. I started playing this game season 3 of Overwatch 1. And I started in silver, and now I've hit top 50 a couple times. And this is just which is like a very long improvement process to make.
Mhm.
And this is essentially the process I took to get there. This can be done in game or out of game, like in replays, though. Of course, it doesn't have to be in replays. I didn't do it in replays. I would recommend, if it once we're done our sessions or whatever, I might recommend doing replays because it is beneficial, but just know it's not a necessity. You can also do it while you're playing. You can do it in between games, in between rounds, things like that. And once, like I said before, the general concept is identifying mistakes. Now, mistakes come in all shapes and sizes, but let's start with very easy one to go over, and that is deaths, because deaths, everybody knows deaths are bad, but you can't stop with just identifying the mistake, because if I came into the session and I just said, oh, you died a few times and that was bad, bye, you probably wouldn't take too much away from that. That wouldn't be very helpful if I just did that. So you need to take it a step further, and the first thing, the next step, is identify the issue within the mistake. So don't just say I died, that was bad. Say I died because of this. And what would you say are some common reasons why people die in Overwatch?
Probably overcommitting,
Yep.
placement,
Overextension. Yep.
bad placement,
Poor positioning. Yep.
and I mean, just getting too cocky, feeling like they win the fight no matter what, but then they don't.
Yeah, which I guess I'd like be a nuance of like I don't know, like I guess I can like touch into a couple things like that could mean that you play over aggressive or you like I'd say that one probably leads to slip ups in like other areas if you're playing too cocky.
Yeah,
Yeah, like other ones can be like lack of awareness, right? Like you don't notice the person who sneaks up behind you, or misuse of abilities. Like if you're playing Kiriko here, maybe you don't use Suzu or TP in time, right? Or you use them at the wrong time. You also have like poor movement, like if you like just stood still or walked in a straight line, things like that. Now that would be the issue within the mistake. You want to look for repetitive mistakes, so the ones that crop up the most, and then also for the biggest mistakes, right? The ones that are important. And then you don't want to just stop there. You want to take it a step further and think about the solution. So you don't want to just say, okay, I died because I was out in the open. Well, what next? You died because you're out in the open. So maybe in the future, probably want to use some more cover. Don't stand out in the open. If I died because I wasn't paying attention, probably want to be looking around a bit more frequently and then applying that to your gameplay, which we'll talk about application a bit later as we get examples of it to go off of. But you want to make sure you look to put it into your gameplay, just not stop there. And mistakes are not limited to deaths. There's a lot of different types of mistakes. You have deaths, you have not getting a kill where you could have gotten a kill. As support, big one's going to be letting a teammate die where you could have saved them. or misusing an ability or misusing an ultimate, things like that. There's a lot more mistakes. And as we cut down on the mistakes, you're going to be doing a lot more because you'll be dying less, you'll be getting more kills, you'll be keep healing your team better, using your abilities and ults better, etc. Right? It's just overall going to make you much better and more consistent as we work on those. All that concept makes sense. Any questions on it?
No, that makes perfect sense, honestly.
Cool. So now let's hop into it. I'll just be a minute or so while I'm looking for something to talk about, and look for those mistakes. And with my experience, I'll probably be able to identify you know more than most on first glance, and then
Yeah.
as you do these with me for a little while, maybe you'll start to pick up you'll start to have the eyes that I have as well. I find that after I do a bunch of sessions with people, they'll start to see the same things because they kind of get trained to look for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so minor thing right off the bat is just to watch the spam jumping. Not the most insanely big thing in the world, but it is something that's just going to A, make you easier to headshot because you lose control over, and then B, because you lose control over your mobility. When you go up, you have to come down. It's easily predictable. You can't move left and right, so you can't really strafe while you're midair. So you just make your movement more predictable when you're just jumping and jumping and jumping. So especially hit scan characters are going to find that very easy to headshot you out of. So just noting that for the moment.
Okay.
Okay, wait, 1 second. All right. Next thing I'm noticing, we're gonna go over with mechanics real quick, is the concept of crosshair placement, which you're Diamond, you've been playing the game for a while, so have you heard that term before?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've heard it, so let's just go over it one more time. I'm noticing a lot of up and down crosshair mobility. So within our game, I'm just noticing a lot of this, which not necessarily as fast as this, but I'm just noticing you'll drift up and down a lot, which isn't always a bad thing, right? Because people will duck and dodge and climb. In Overwatch, you'll see them go up in the air, and you'll have slopes and things you have to work with. But generally speaking, crosshair placement is putting your crosshair in the best place possible to hit the easiest shots possible. It's using your brain to help your aim. And the first major step to this is keeping a head level crosshair placement, because that will make your shots more consistent. Now, I think they just changed the body shot to headshot ratio, didn't they? I think it's like 2.5 times to 1 times, right? So body shot, or maybe they buffed the damage for the 1 time, so it's 1 times damage, 2.5 times damage, or something along those lines, right? And overall, and most characters it's 2 times damage. That's a lot better than hitting body shots, right? You're doing a lot faster kills. It's the difference between 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots, right? Very
Yeah.
big difference in time to kill. Therefore, headshots much better. If we're aiming here or up here, and we're going up and down and drifting around, then you're either doing nothing, if you're aiming too high up, or if you're aiming down here, there's just so much adjustment to make if you're having to go up to the left, up to the right, right? It's more adjustment, harder shot to land than if we're just going left, right, left, right. If we're just going about doing our business, right? Let's say we're shooting down shields, into corridors, into people, and we're just aiming down here, we're just going to naturally hit those body shots. But if we do all the same stuff, aim up at head level, shooting in down corridors, into shields, right, into people, we just naturally start to hit those headshots if we're aiming there. Another part of this is pre-aiming. So if somebody's I always forget they got rid of that bot. Dang it, man. So let's say we know that there's a spot right over here, right? we're going to pre-aim head level right around this corner. So as soon as we peek here, we're already aiming at head level. It's very easy shots to land. And the same way we'd look down on a Torb and up on a tank, we're going to adjust downwards on these guys because they're on a slope. So we're going to be looking down when we're turning this corner. They're up here, so we're looking up. So we just make these shots very, very easy on ourselves. So I would just watch the up and down drifting as much, because when they're all on even footing to us and they're not jumping up into the sky or whatever, we're just going to want to keep a general head level placement, because you know you can adjust as needed to crouching and jumping, but generally they're going to keep that head level, right? So we don't want to go too far off from that.
Okay.
So I can show you a little bit of that in your game. I need to learn these new map names. So, how do you say it? Suravaza. Suravaza.
I wish I knew.
Ready for battle.
Alright, so you can see it as we're coming in here. We come in. You see it especially once they get to even footing with us. You'll start to see it more, because it's hard to see when they're on the slope, right? But you can look at Doomfist a little bit below his chest. Okay, you'll look at when we're on Soldier. Now he's jumping, so it makes it a little bit more difficult to see it. But you can see it like here when we start to go up against these guys. Look at where we're drifting. We're drifting down to their body, where we're going, and then we adjust upwards and we hit our head here, right? But then notice how we're back down to this body level on the Doomfist, and down to the body level in a second here on their Doomfist, and then their Kiriko. Look at where we're drifting shoulder level, right? So there's just a lot of downwards drift that I'm noticing.
Okay.
Yeah, I got the high score, dude.
Like a gentle rain.
Yeah. Nice. Use some of this downtime to just be, minor stuff, but use the in-between times to be reloading. So when you're just like making that rotation, easy time to rotate. Maybe not super necessary TP. You can heal from back where you were, and then that just wastes an ability. I don't know if it like really did much for us there. Okay. Aiming a little bit low here on the brig, even when she's like up on our footing now, we're aiming at her body. Very nice. Suzu so far pretty solid. Okay. Here, do know it's a new map, so I know not everyone's aware of this, but you can stand up on top of these here. So that could maybe be a way that you can help isolate yourself by taking this high ground and just climbing up there. That can help isolate you from some of this brawling, because they're on like pretty brawly. They don't really have as much like, especially like their Genji and their Doomfist are going to have a harder time getting to you up here or things like that. So that can maybe help you get some better angles as well. So just easy high ground.
What's up?
Yeah, that was a bad teleport on my part.
Let's see. We're trying to go to.
What's up?
Yeah, not really sure where we're going. All right, there we. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So you didn't know about it.
Well, I just found it out, I think, right then and there.
Oh, yeah. Fair enough.
You're a professional.
And I immediately dropped down.
Now you see me? Now you don't.
Okay, good job finding that little area there. Okay, solid healing. Maybe not as necessary. Suzu, I don't know. I guess he is critical like half there, and you don't really see how many people. But I guess he moves out of place, so not too bad. It's unfortunate he jumps away from it.
Yeah, it's perfect timing.
Hello, thanks. Ready for a knockout?
Alright. Alright, so we use the rush here. I'm not sure if maybe we don't expect them to touch here, but just in case they do go for the touch, I would be careful because this is very exposed positioning currently.
Yeah.
Because A, you don't really have too much cover here, right? We're very out in the open. And B, you're also kind of sitting smack dab on top of point, which right now with 2 seconds left, where's the one place they need to be going? Point, right?
Yeah.
Right,
Sorry.
they
Sorry.
need, no, all good. So they need to be going and touching point. So being on point is probably the most dangerous place you could be when being just off a little, taking the high ground, being further back on point, like
Yeah.
here, say high ground or might be better. More cover, more options, things like that.
Yes. Okay.
So positioning here. Additionally, yeah, we do use ult here.
Guide you.
Once again, problem is that like I feel like we're missing half the point with it. So if we were further back, that would be more useful for our team
I've got you.
than where it's at currently. Good immortality field.
I'm with you. I feel a warm
Solid
inside.
headshot. Alright, solid first fight.
Carried on the wind.
TP if you so they're pretty easy save if we TP Suzu, right?
Yeah.
It's not so you don't want to do a TP Suzu if you know that you're gonna die with it, right? Like if you're TPing in and it's a 1v5 or 2v5 at that point, right? If it's a 2v5 and they're 1 HP and you know that you're just gonna die immediately afterwards, don't do it. Don't suicide to save someone. But here, that's not really suicide because of the fact that you've already gotten 2 kills. Your Tracer's in here too. Doomfist is behind cover, so if you go back and heal him, he's going to have health to tank with. And then the rest of your teammates like right behind you, right? So I don't think that's an immediate death sentence if you TP in here. Additionally, a lot of the times if you do it appropriately, they're already looking at Doomfist and trying to kill him, so he's kind of their focus, not you when you TP in. So yeah, that easy way to save him. So once again, mistake, identifying mistake, letting teammate die where we could have saved them is a mistake.
Yeah. Okay.
Good TP.
I'm with you.
Watch spamming his block there. Just something to keep your eyes out open for. Okay, now at this point, fight's not going too hot. Minor. Well, let's talk about like minor positioning thing once again here. Maybe I think I mentioned it once before, so let's just give it a quick rundown. It's probably some stuff you've heard before, but it's good to give it the good old in-depth overview on. And then we will also talk about the
I'll find my own
application.
path.
Right?
I'm here. Shouldn't have put your head there.
What was even the term? I'm forgetting. But you use it when you're reloading, in between shots, things like that. When you're being shot at, corners, same deal. Random cover around the same thing. Now they can't.
The breeze brings relief. Ouch.
Now taking that back to, oh, that's a good home screen. Cool. Taking that back to the fight.
Breaking me down just builds me up.
Hello. Thanks.
I'm with you.
Yeah. Notice how far out in the open you are, how centered you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
We still end up dying. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice to know you have my back. Be healed. What's up?
Yeah, there you go.
The kitsune is ready.
Okay. So teammate dies. Right. Is there anything in this situation we could have done better to keep him alive?
Definitely could have used Suzu. Right here, I was trying to fix my sensitivity. If you see me go
Uh-huh.
AFK for half a second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Do you feel like your sensitivity, like, what was up with your sensitivity?
I had to lower it, like
Mhm.
0.5. It was just a little too much.
Yeah, I was noticing a little bit high of a sensitivity, as well. What's your sensitivity and DPI currently at?
I have 800 DPI and I think 6.5.
Okay, 800 by 6.5. I don't think that's the most true. Yeah, it's like I'd say it's more like of a mid-ranged sensitivity. If you had it like, a little bit higher, that's, it's also just, of course, like you said, a little bit higher than that.
Yeah.
So honestly, not too bad. If you feel like you are struggling to land like consistent headshots, you can try going a little bit lower. Just make sure you have a large enough mouse space for it. And generally speaking, you usually don't want to go lower than your ability to do a 360 with your mouse space. So with your whole mouse space, do a 360 because that means from the center you can do a 180 either direction. So that just gives you free turn mobility. And that should be just like a minimum benchmarker. But if you need to, feel free to try to lower it and mess around with it more. But beyond that, once we are now paying attention,
Yeah.
or which, yeah, like that's probably a big thing is that we went AFK there. Yeah, right here we're doing it.
Yeah.
And then we're also maybe like just lagging behind our team like a little bit. We end up TPing in, but at this point it's a little bit too late. So yeah, that going AFK in the middle probably wasn't too helpful.
Yeah.
Just needed a dash of mischief. Under my protection.
Good Suzu.
I'm on fire. Thanks for the touch-up.
Okay.
What's up?
Yeah, maybe like minor delay in TPing away. Oh, almost get the headshots in.
I could not kill her for the life of me.
Yeah. All right. So, maybe a little bit of mechanical inconsistency there. Now, I don't think your mechanics are atrocious, but different things that I guess we can go over to help work on this a little bit better. So firstly, do you warm up before you start playing? I mean, is this a scrim or is this comp?
This is calm.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I didn't recognize any names. So do you typically warm up before playing calm?
In this circumstance, no, but yeah, I typically do.
Typically do. Gotcha.
Yeah.
What do you typically do for your warm up?
I have the Aim Trainer XLV or whatever that one is. That one's
Hmm.
pretty popular. I have Aim Labs. That one's very rare
Gotcha.
that I'll actually use
Hmm.
that unless I feel like my aim's pretty bad. But
Hmm.
I think, and then I also have like this deathmatch server that I joined.
Gotcha. All right. Honestly, that does sound like a pretty good like warm up, do like 10, 15 minutes of that roughly before you hop into anything. And yeah, like just mix it up. Try hard free for alls are really great, deathmatch mode to be going for as well. Just because you have a lot of dueling practice in that where there's no other distractions besides just you and dueling people. Um
Yeah.
Besides that, other things that are going to help with like something that can maybe help with some of these, notice how we have a very like if you're looking at this right, a very shaky and then also like flicky aim style at the moment. So look at how you're shooting at the Kiriko. We go shot on, and we look down, we go shot, and then notice how you're gonna look to the right here, and then we go to the left with our shot. So it's like right, left, right, left. So it's ends up becoming very flicky,
Yeah.
and flicking is not a bad thing. Tracking is not a bad thing. I think that often it can become misunderstood that is like a style and oh it's my style so I'm just going to keep aiming like that. I think both have their advantages and disadvantages and therefore should be used in different circumstances, not necessarily as a flat style. Now if you're just super naturally gifted at aiming and I don't know, like you're like a Defran, then go ahead and do however the heck you want to do it. But when you're just generally playing the game, flicking is going to be really good when flicking is needed. Flicking by kind of definition is anytime your crosshair is going from point A to point B really quickly. And that's needed when it is, for example, a fast moving target. So let's say you have like a tracer blinking around you. You gotta flick to keep up with her. You can't track a blink, right? If someone sneaks up behind you, you gotta flick to do that, 180, right? You shouldn't be moving really slowly with that. If someone, for example, if you're looking at the Kiriko and you kill her and you're moving on to a new target, you gotta flick to the next target, right? Or you can do micro flicks if they're doing maybe sudden movements like a jump. You can do a micro flick. But if there is none of the above, where they're just in front of you, moving slowly, going off of your target by a mile is just doing nothing but making your shot more difficult. So if you have a Kiriko who's standing in front of you and she's not moving around drastically like a than keeping a more centered tracking play style, maybe aiming at the person when it's not needed. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah. That definitely makes sense.
Yeah. And then here you can see like some more like crosshair placement, right, as well can be helpful with this, right? Just notice that like how we turn this corner and look at where even when soldier is no one's jumping here, look at where crosshair is placed, right, down at his knees, right? So just keeping a more centered head level, easier shots that could I think one tap soldier here, pretty sure.
Yeah.
And then that can mean all the difference in a slow and kind of like this frag off at the moment deathmatch fight.
Yeah.
Let them up.
My gift to you.
All right, so Let's see, is there anything we could have done when Genji gets Ash? I think he just like kind of right-click dashes her.
Yeah, he
She's
dashed.
she's low behind us, but we didn't really see it. Yeah. So I think she just took damage while we weren't looking.
Yeah.
Not really much to be done there. We tried to throw Suzu at Doomfist. I would, yeah, I maybe just be expecting the fact that Doomfist is going to be moving around, so I would be a little bit hesitant to try to throw them unless you just saw him use his movement abilities. I'd be hesitant to throw it at the Doomfist, knowing that he's just gonna move out of the way because that's happened like 2, maybe 3 times now already. So just gotta be careful of that. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Jumping really is the only thing I'd say there. Maybe tad bit more cover, but she does kill you very quickly with the headshot. So I'd say the main thing there would just be jump spamming.
Okay.
Careful, we're out now. Got him. Sombra online.
Right. So, this is something as well that you can be doing to get some more value out of your gameplay as well, to get more frag value. Now this is going to be situationally dependent, maybe not an all the time thing, but Kiriko does have the ability to go off and flank and try to get picks pretty cool, decently, right? She can try to frag out and kill stuff.
Yeah.
Now, how to be doing that is going to be getting closer in a lot of cases, because Kiriko, yes, she can play mid-range from enemies, but she doesn't prefer that because she has a very slow projectile. So this distance is going to be a lot harder to get value than if you're pushing up and getting to this distance, right? Much easier shots to be landing in a lot of cases, though of course keeping your distance from any close-ranged characters. Now, how you can be doing that is when you see, oh, all of my teammates are full HP and they don't need me immediately, you can start by just flanking and getting up and approaching from the side and just pushing somebody. And then if you get pressured, if you for whatever reason need to back out, you always want to have a target in mind to TP out to, because you're always thinking about the escape. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but a really easy way to do this is just to hold down your shift, because if you hold down your shift button, when you go over top of somebody,
I'm here.
you can just really quickly just
Hey.
they're two separate things, right? Enemy team there, our team here, main angle. This is an off angle, right? So if our whole team's cool, we can just come over here, go pow, 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 getting close, right? Get some kills, and then back to
Kakaya? Under my protection.
on a moment's notice.
Shouldn't have put your head there.
Yeah.
Yep. So here, for example, when we're back in this fight right here, when this fight is kind of opening up,
Ready for battle.
let's go and see, take a look. Okay, so this fight is kind of opening up, and you're kind of running away. We have people chasing behind here, Soldier and Genji. If we know that we everyone's fine and dandy over here. There's no reason to immediately. More thing on the yeah, I guess on this is occasionally, not all the time, which this is gonna be the case for a lot of things here because you are on this higher end of players spectrum, right? You're on like, top 10% of players with Diamond. We're gonna be going over a lot of consistency and efficiency things. So this is something that I'm seeing you do some of the times, but then other times maybe I'm seeing it inconsistent, and that is just target priority. Sometimes I'm noticing we're focusing a little bit too hard on the Doomfist, on the enemy team Doomfist. And generally speaking, best targets to go for are the easiest targets because the easiest targets will actually die. You'll be able to two-tap a squishy. You're not going to be able to two-tap a Doomfist. He's going to take a lot more time to kill a Doomfist because tanks by design have 2 to 3 times the health, more abilities, or tanking abilities, shields, armor. They get healed the easiest. They have some of them have pretty good mobility, things like that, right? Tanks are difficult to kill by design. That's not to say that you never shoot at them. You can shoot at them if they're low, out of position. If they're the only thing you can shoot at, go for it. But if you have equal opportunity, such as, for example, you have equal opportunity, which should be you have a Moira and a Doomfist standing right next to each other. Go for the Moira, just because you're going to be able to actually kill them easier if you're shooting at her. And then also, you should be actively seeking out those other targets. So maybe by going on an off angle or something like that, you can get to those squishies to kill. And once again, I'm not seeing this all the time, but I'm just seeing it crop up once in a while. All that makes sense?
Yeah, yeah. It definitely makes sense. Target the weaker ones.
Yep. Okay, pretty solid. Kitsune usage. Okay. Unfortunately, yeah, I don't know if we had like too much else to go along with it. Yeah, I think they just had some ults to use. Maybe TP for. Yeah, no, there's not really much we can do there.
What's up? Come to me for heals. My gift to you.
Okay. Once again, very just like shaky with the aim, which I think a lot of times comes down to like higher sensitivity. Just I guess a little bit careful because on top of just making aiming very weird and can be a little bit inconsistent. That also can just mess with your awareness if you're not able to like see what's happening. Uh-oh. What's the problem with that one?
That one, I probably shouldn't have taken that fight.
Yeah.
That crosshair placement, pretty much everything went wrong.
Yeah.
Right there.
So over aggression, poor like lack of awareness on noticing that their whole team's there, things like that.
Yeah.
Let's talk application real quick. So, I think so far I'm noticing that I don't know if I would say I'll have to like at the end we'll do the review and I will see what's the top near the end. But I think everything across your whole kit, everything seems pretty even in terms of what you need to work on. I don't think anything like majorly stands out as like, oh, you're terrible at this, and you're really great at everything else. I think that it's like everything needs a little bit of work, and that's just how it goes sometimes. Some people need to work on on one thing or two things. Other people kind of just need to work on like a little bit of everything, just how it is. So let's talk about how do you apply that stuff and put it into practice. Well, you want to make sure that while you're playing, you're actively focusing on the thing you're trying to work on. Now, I'll give you my recommendations near the end, but you want to make sure that you're not autopiloting, that you're not just playing to play, and contrary to popular belief, you're not just playing to win, but instead you're playing to improve, because that actually leads to more wins and better gameplay and whatnot. And what that will look like within your gameplay is you want to pick something out. So let's say, for example, you want to pick out, let's say, ability usage, right? Like maybe you're missing Suzu or not TPing or missing them, using them in the wrong circumstances, and you want to use them better. You're gonna come into your game and you're gonna think to yourself, abilities, TP, 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 Suzu, 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 and you're constantly thinking about how you're using it, when you're using it, why you're using it. And when you do that, your ability usage is probably gonna be a bit better than if you were just coming in and doing them all on autopilot. And therefore, if you do that for a long enough period of time, that forms it as as a habit. Once you form as a habit, then you don't need to really worry about it as much. It just kind of comes naturally now. And then after it comes naturally, then you can move on and work on something else. Move on to the next thing. Then final thing here is just like don't try to do everything all at the same time, right? I gave you a lot of stuff to work with. Don't try to put it all into practice. Focus on one category of things or 1 to 3 smaller things within a category so you don't overwhelm yourself. That all makes sense? Any questions on it?
No, that makes perfect sense.
Cool, cool. Okay, good TP. Okay. Little delay with the Suzu, right? You see him blade and it's just a little bit delayed. And then at that point it's already lost.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe mistiming his dash there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that? Like a gentle rain.
Once again, maybe thinking of some of this ranging in terms of shots. We're missing a lot of shots, a lot of like hard flicks. Notice how like Mora is just kind of moving normal here. You know, no abilities, no nothing, and we start off to the right of her, or we overflick to the right, and then we overflick to the left, and then now we're on her and we land the shot, right? So just some more nuances in aiming.
Yeah.
Okay, no need to run away from 3v1, or I guess where's the point at here?
Yeah, it's pretty far away. I don't.
Over here. Is it not showing me the UI? Oh, that's stupid. In the replay, it doesn't show the UI. I don't even know where you're trying to go. Like I'm presuming over here then.
Yes. Yeah. It's in that little room over there.
Yeah. Okay. So that's okay. Okay. There we go. Yeah. So it's already unlocked. That's okay. That's fine. Didn't help. I didn't know where you're trying to go. Do you have any clue yet? I haven't played the mode enough to figure it out yet. Is it a randomized point? It's random between the points, I'd presume, right? It's not like one then the other sequentially.
Yeah, it's completely random.
Yeah. Besides the first start one's always the same, right? It's right towards the center, and then it changes up.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. Right. Solid spot maybe could be once again potentially trying to go for some frags early on. So instead of like sitting back here, we could be like up here going like sneaking around, going pow 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 pow, because none of our teams need us right now. Like it's in between fights. Like nobody needs you. So why don't we like come over here, try to land a headshot or two on the soldier from the flank where they're not watching and paying attention, and then we can just immediately TP back to our team as needed, right? And then that just making sure we're paying. Oh, Tabugi was wrong. I should never do that again. But because you got yourself killed because you weren't doing it right. But make sure when you're going on that flank that you are paying attention to where your team is at. Making sure you're Suzuing yourself. Make sure you always have that person that you're trying to TP out to, and don't run outside of your TP range, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So that's just more frag carry value and potential, because you can win this have an impact on this fight before it even finishes, or before it starts, I guess.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we're very frontliney. Okay. Little out in the open. Also, we're using Rush where only like one of our teammates can use it, or yeah, or two of our teammates. So, if you know that you're gonna immediately have to back out of it,
Yeah.
maybe use it from like back here from behind your teammates, and then you, your Ash, and your other teammates up there can all use it, right? Oof, nice. So flicking works sometimes. Just sometimes it's a little bit inconsistent.
Yes.
Face my burning fist.
Be healed. Come here. I can heal you.
I thank you.
Nice.
Hey,
Behind, I presume then.
Yeah.
I'd be careful about doing, because here, what are you maybe noticing as a? Oh no, it's spawn. Never mind. What are you maybe noticing as a problem?
We're all split up.
Yeah. Your team is kind of lagging behind, which this is going to just like the point doesn't unlock for 30 seconds. It's feeding them a bit of ult charge. Your team's kind of playing spread, so they're trying to push while you're trying to back and just run the point. So just pay attention to what your team's trying to do, because potentially you guys can just help stay and sustain this fight. And then if they kill your tanks, then then you can run away and try to go for point. Or you can just die as a team. And I think you have a close. I don't actually know where their spawn is, but I think your spawn would be closer to point here.
Yes.
I'm not. Honestly, because I can't see the UI, I don't know where you're going. But yeah, or maybe it's this one right here. Oh, yep, it's this one right here. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So your spawn's pretty far from that, honestly. So
Okay.
My ultimate is charging.
My ultimate is almost
I got
ready.
Come to me for heals. Like a gentle rain.
all right, so your Ash falls off the map. Cool, cool, cool,
Yeah.
cool. Using Suzu when we immediately duck around the corner.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm here.
Unfortunate TP timing. Yeah, alright. There they came in, and I think they just used a lot more ults than you. Let's see, we used. Yeah, I think they just kind of they use ults. They got advantages. All right, let's start to do wrap up stuff.
Okay.
All right.
they switched from honor to
So, ability usage to start. Like I was saying before, I'm not sure if anything was
find my own
super
path.
out of the water, but I mean they need a little bit of work. So, occasionally you'd TP when maybe you didn't need the TP, or we could be using TP. Maybe like using TP as a better escape for going for a more risky place to get more value, high risk, high reward type of thinking, while still being careful with how we're going for it. And then just like remember the drag,
I'm with you.
hold it, and then you can drag it on somebody. Suzu, not all the time. A lot of times it's solid, but then once in a while you'd use it when it wasn't needed. Right there at the very end when we ducked around the corner, we did that, right? Once in a while you'd use it when your teammates weren't in danger, or you wouldn't use it when somebody needed it, or you'd be a little bit delayed. So paying attention to those situations and looking to get more consistent with it. Overall ability usage, like a lower end of a medium for you to work on. Ult usage, place it from behind your teammates so that you can
Shouldn't have put your
hit
head
more
there.
people with it. So if we're all the way up in front and we're only going to give it to one person, maybe it's not going to be the best. So if instead of using it like right here for this guy, we can TP.
I'm here. Let the Kitsune guide you. And what did we learn? Triple kill. Fox in a henhouse. Double kill. 私が守る。That's the spot. Double kill. Double kill. Double kill. Double kill. Ouch.
Okay.
Soothing your wounds.
Yeah, I probably will, honestly.
Double kill. Double kill. Double kill. Triple kill. Now I'm having fun. Like a gentle rain. Double kill. Restoring balance.
Good.
What's up? I'm on fire! Double kill. Triple kill. Fox in a henhouse. Sit down, please. Draw strength from nature.
Yeah.
Underestimated me, Ned. Double kill. Double kill. How embarrassing.
No. That was pretty in depth.
Thank you. So let me stop the